Okay, that's right. You guessed it. In this video, we're going to be talking about induced voltage, specifically an induced voltage in a coil of wire as that coil of wire moves through this, across this page into and out of this magnetic field. So what we have here is we have a coil of wire that has a dimension of 2 centimeters by 3 centimeters. It is going to be moving with a constant velocity of 1 centimeter per second through this magnetic field across this grid from 0 to 10, and the magnetic field strength, which is defined by this region right here that is directed into the page as noted by these X's. The magnetic field strength is 4 milliteslas, which is 4 times 10 to the minus 3 teslas. Okay, and we have to think about induced voltage and when will there actually be a voltage induced in that coil of wire. We need to know that, and you need to be thinking about that ahead of time, and you should know that a voltage will only be induced in the coil of wire when the magnetic flux through the coil of wire changes over time. Do you know what magnetic flux is? If you don't, there's a video I made, there's a link to it in the upper right hand corner of this video. Make sure that you know what magnetic flux is. But the voltage will only be induced when the magnetic flux changes over time. Not when there is a magnetic flux, but when it changes over time. Okay, and what we're going to do is we have to consider there's 5 different time intervals that we really have to be aware of. We need to think about what happens as the coil moves up to the magnetic field. What happens to the coil? Will there be an induced voltage as it moves into the magnetic field? Will there be an induced voltage as it moves across the magnetic field? Number 4, will there be an induced voltage as it moves out of the magnetic field? And the last time interval is number 5, what will happen as it moves away from the magnetic field? And we're going to answer these questions or determine these things: the change in the magnetic flux, the induced EMF. We're going to graph the change in the magnetic flux. We're going to graph the induced voltage. And at the end, we're going to determine the direction of the induced current. Okay, now I said we have to know what's going on for 5 different time intervals, and these are the 5 different time intervals, and we need to keep in mind, as I said, that a voltage will only be induced when the magnetic flux is changing over time. So let's see, will there be a magnetic flux? Okay, I think it's good to kind of look at this like a little qualitatively before we just jump in and do the calculations, because this is really the most important concept. And you should have an idea about whether this is occurring before you just start calculating stuff. Think about it a little bit ahead of time. Okay, from 0 to 1 second, the coil moves up. Is there any magnetic flux inside the coil at any time during that first second? No. So no coil, no magnetic flux, no change in magnetic flux, and therefore no induced EMF. Now, from 1 to 4 seconds, then there is an induced voltage because there is flux, there's a change in the flux, and if there's a change in the flux, then there is an induced voltage, and the flux is increasing. Right when it got up to here, it was 0, and then now it moves in, and we have all this flux. Okay, now the next section, the next second from 4 to 5 seconds, it just moves through the magnetic field. Now, yes, there is a magnetic flux, but there's no change. So there's no induced EMF. If I take this coil and just move it around anywhere inside here, the amount of magnetic field that's through that coil doesn't change. Yes, there is flux. There is magnetic field inside, but it's not changing, so there's no induced voltage. Now we move it, and now we move it out of the magnetic field. Now once again, not once again, but now there's a change because there was flux. It changed, it went from some value back to 0, and because it changed, there was an induced EMF. Now we move it away, or it was decreasing, and now we move it away from the magnetic field, and once again, there was no, during that time interval from 8 to 10 seconds, there was no flux. There, of course, there could be no change, and therefore there was no induced EMF. So really, if we want to know what the induced voltage is, we only have to consider, or if there was an induced voltage, we only have to consider the 2 time intervals from 1 second to 4 seconds and from 5 seconds to 8 seconds, because that's the only time that the flux was changing. In the first one, it was increasing, and the second, from 5 to 8 seconds, it was decreasing, and therefore, during those time intervals, there will be an induced EMF. Okay, now, we're going to calculate first the change in the flux, all right? Because we need to know the change in the flux in order to calculate the induced voltage. This is the equation we calculate. This is the change, delta, the change in the magnetic flux is equal to the change in the area of the coil times the magnetic field. All right. Now we know that there was only a change from 1 to 4 seconds and 5 to 8 seconds. So those are the only times we need to calculate the change in the flux and then the induced voltage. All right. Now, at the beginning of 1 second, okay, right when it starts to enter, there's no magnetic flux. So at 1 second, when it starts, okay, the initial condition is that there's no magnetic flux. So I wrote down here that the magnetic flux initial, this is the initial condition, is the area, which is, this is in centimeters, it needs to be converted to meters, 0.03 meters times 0.02 meters times the magnetic field strength. Now there is a magnetic field strength, but when it starts, there's no magnetic field, so this is 0. That means the flux is 0 Webers. The units for magnetic field is Webers. Now when we move in, okay, you can see it's increasing. There's more and more as it moves in. That's the final condition at 4 seconds. So that means that the magnetic flux final is the area, once again, 0.03 meters times 0.02 meters times the magnetic field strength, because that's the magnetic field that's inside there now. It's the area of the coil times the magnetic field strength. And some people, sometimes you'll see, or you will of course see, that it's cosine theta, but these are right angles to each other. So the cosine of 90 is 1, so we don't have to consider that. Okay? So that means that the magnetic flux at the end is 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6. So basically it went from 0 as it started to enter the magnetic field to this maximum value right here. Now the change is just the final minus the initial. So this is the final minus 0 is just this number, 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6 is the change. That's what it increased from 0. Okay, and that's from 1 to 4 seconds. Now we could go through and calculate the whole thing again, but we don't really have to because we know when it moves out, it's just doing the same thing basically, but it's decreasing. The same time interval, the same size coil, the same magnetic field strength. So now the change from 1 to 4 seconds is just minus, because then it would be the final, because now it's at 0, and the initial, this is what it started, this is minus 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6 Webers. Okay? Does that make sense? That's the only two, that's the change in the magnetic flux for those two time intervals, which are 3 seconds long. Now we're going to make a graph. This is a graph of the magnetic flux over time. Here's the magnetic flux. Now this is 2.4. Remember, it was increasing 2.4 and then decreasing 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6. So we're going to go through this corresponding scale here. For the first second, there's no change because there was no magnetic flux. So you write a line here, you draw a line here, it's 0. People say, yeah, but there was none. Well, none is 0. Now when it moves in, it increases from 0 to this value over 3 seconds. Okay, this is 0 to 4, this is 3 seconds, not 4 seconds. So we draw like that. It's just a straight line, constant slope from the initial condition to the final condition, from 0 to 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6 Webers. Now for the next second, yes, there is a magnetic flux. It's not 0 again, but it's not changing. So we just draw a horizontal line. It's constant at 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6. Now when it moves out, it decreases. So we have this same magnitude, but it has a negative sign in front of it. And that means it's decreasing from some value, not from some value, from 2.4 times 10 to the minus 6 Webers back to 0 as it moves out. And then it moves across for 2 more seconds away from the magnetic field. So it goes back to 0. So that's the graph of the change in the magnetic flux from 0 to 10 seconds. All right? Remember, it's only changing from 1 to 4, 5 to 8. That's the only time we're going to have an induced voltage, which is what we're going to calculate excuse me, right now. This is the equation we use to calculate the induced voltage. The induced voltage is equal to minus, this is Lenz's law because the current is directed in the opposite direction, is the change in the magnetic flux over time, the time in which it changes, not 10. Okay, so let's look at what it would be for 1 to 4 seconds and 5 to 8 seconds. That's the only time there's an induced voltage. So we're going to apply that equation, and that means that the induced voltage is the change in the magnetic flux. This is minus because there's a minus sign here. The change in the magnetic flux, so it goes from 0 to 2.4, so this is the change. And it does that over 3 seconds. Okay, sometimes people think this is 4 seconds, but it goes 1 second, 2 seconds. This is 3 centimeters, and it's moving at 1 centimeter per second. So we divide that, and we get minus 8.0 times 10 to the minus 7 volts. That's the induced voltage during that 3-second time interval. We do the same thing for 5 to 8, and we get 8, a positive 8 times 10 to the minus 7 because we have a minus sign here. Remember, the change in the magnetic flux was negative because it's decreasing, going from some value back to 0, from this value back to 0. So this is minus a minus, and this is a positive value. Okay, so that's the voltage during those 2 time intervals, the induced voltage. Now we can make a graph of that again, okay? And for the first second, as it moves in, there's no change, there's no induced voltage, so we just put 0 from the first seconds. Now, for the next 3 seconds, there is an induced voltage, and this is the induced voltage, so we just draw a horizontal line. It's not it doesn't have a slope, it's just a constant velocity, constant induced voltage. Now, when it moves across or through the magnetic field, once again, it's just moving, and there's no change, right? There's just no change, so it's 0. It goes back to 0 for that 1 second. Then when it moves out, now the voltage is 8.0 positive. Okay, there's a changing flux for those 3 seconds, and then when it moves away, it's back to 0. So that is a graph of the change. That's not the change. That's a graph of the induced voltage over those 10 seconds. All right? Okay, now there's one more thing we want to do. We want to figure out the direction of the current. Now this is my coil of wire. Okay, that's the coil of wire. When the coil is moving in, goes with Lenz's law. When the coil is moving into the magnetic field, there's more and more, an increasing amount of magnetic field in the coil. And that magnetic field is directed into the page. Well, the coil doesn't like it when the magnetic field or the flux is changing. So it produces a current to counteract that changing magnetic field. It's changing and it's increasing in. So we are going to take our right hand rule, our right hand, and use the right hand rule, and we're going to take the coil, and what the coil does, it produces a current that will therefore produce a magnetic field around that wire that's directed out of the page to counteract the increasing in as it moves across. It's going to make more magnetic field, or it's going to make a magnetic field that will now come out of the page to counteract the changing in magnetic field. So we take our right hand, we wrap our hands around, we want the magnetic field from the coil of wire to be coming out of the page, and therefore the current is going to be going counterclockwise from Lenz's law, the induced current. All right? Now as it moves out, okay, now there's going to be a decreasing amount of magnetic field that's directed into the page through this coil. Once again, the coil doesn't like that change. It wants to keep the same amount of magnetic field through the coil. So what is it going to do? It's going to produce a current that will then produce a magnetic field from that long straight wire using our right hand rule to keep the amount of magnetic field or the flux the same. So that is going to do that. It's going to produce more magnetic field into the page. So now we're going to take our right hand rule. We point our fingers in because it's going to be producing magnetic field into the page. And now our thumb points in the direction, okay, of the current. And that means that's going to be clockwise. So in this case, it's clockwise. It's producing more in. All right, there you go. We did all of that. I'm sure that was more than 10 minutes, probably more like 15 minutes. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, please do all of the following 4 things. Subscribe to my channel. Get all my excellent physics, chemistry, and math videos. Leave me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up for this video. Leave me a nice positive comment in the comment section below. And don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this video with all of your friends. Show them how much you care. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.